Regardless of what you might think of shows like Hell of a Boss, The Amazing Digital Circus, Lackadaisy, Punch Punch Forever, or any number of other genuinely impressive indie productions, such as Walk's insanely well-animated She-Hulk project, independent cartoons are making waves online. So much so that even a show like The Amazing Digital Circus and Hazbin Hotel have found homes on traditional media platforms, with creatives like Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack transitioning to mainstream television on Adult Swim. It's incredible to see the internet thriving with creative projects that are not only artistically rich, but also financially successful. We've reached the point where the internet animators are making the leap to television, while traditional media is turning to the internet to create products free from corporate restrictions. It's basically a win-win for anybody involved in animation, online, or in traditional media. No one illustrates this shift better than the incredibly talented and relatively new creative force, Dana Terrace, the woman behind the now-cancelled cult classic, The Owl House, on Disney. She contributed to films like The Mitchells vs. the Machines as a storyboard artist, along with various other projects. However, her creative career truly took off with The Owl House. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to drop a like and leave a comment. Let me know how hyped you are for the Knights of Guinevere. It's a quick click for you, but it makes a huge difference in getting this video seen by more people. And honestly, it helps justify my 4 AM editing marathons, so thanks for the support. A show that, surprisingly enough, isn't all that different from Hazbin Hotel when you really think about it. At least in terms of being an animated series that checks all the boxes that typically upset a specific type of person online. I think you know the type of person. The major difference? While Hazbin Hotel leans heavily on the illusion of maturity by overloading on sex jokes and profanity, The Owl House from day one was restricted to writing for younger audiences, meaning no swearing or anything remotely sexual, despite the bizarre crowd that considers a wholesome scene of two girls kissing sexual. Jesus, check those guys' hard drives. Additionally, Hazbin Hotel's use of settings like heaven and hell never goes beyond surface-level exploration. Does the show ever ask what an actual society in hell, the place of eternal damnation, would be like? Not really. VivziePop primarily uses it as a backdrop, a means to an end rather than an opportunity for world building. This results in characters that feel needlessly edgy, with little to no meaningful exploration beyond some lackluster backstories to make you feel bad for them. In contrast, the Owl House provides a strong sense of its world, from the witches and demons to their sentient staffs, and the society they inhabit. Every element of the setting serves the story in a meaningful way. That said, what I'm getting at here is that the Owl House was introduced to me by my cousin as one of the most aggressively progressive animated shows out there. Almost a direct middle finger to Disney. Remember when pearl-clutching mothers tried to get rid of Harry Potter and get it banned because of demonic visuals and uses of magic? Well, the Owl House practically said, "Hold my beer," explained that witches used magic through a grotesque heart, and that they, along with demons on the Isle, were granted magic abilities through massive demonic skeletons called Titans. And in case literal demons weren't enough, on top of that, nearly every other character was either gay, non-binary, or whatever the hell this character is. Which, yes, I know, this is Dana Terrace herself as a self-insert, bless her soul. With my nasally voice, I'd probably do the same. The key difference between the Owl House and Hazbin Hotel, however, is that Dana Terrace knew exactly how to craft thematically rich, adult-leaning stories for children while integrating elements that some might deem woke in a way that felt natural and engaging. Unfortunately, no matter how well she wrote the show, Disney ultimately didn't approve and canceled it, giving the final season only 3 long episodes. Their reasoning? They claimed the story was clearly geared towards an older demographic, as Dana Terrace explains, which, let's be real, basically translates to, we wanted more easily digestible kids content, not something of the same caliber as Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because God forbid children have serialized television with mature themes that doesn't treat them like literal toddlers. However, despite its cancellation and shortened final season, both the animation and writing remain top tier, only doubling down on its mature elements. Fast forward a year or so, and after a month of speculation about what she'd do next, we finally got the announcement. Dana Terrace is developing a show with Glitch Productions, the studio behind Murder Drones and The Amazing Digital Circus, the latter being a worldwide phenomenon. Excitement for her next project, The Knights of Guinevere, is through the roof. And if I'm being honest, for absolutely good reason. You only have to look at Dana Terrace's Twitter to see that Glitch is just as excited. They've been chomping at the bit for the opportunity to finally produce a traditionally animated 2D series. And while I appreciate 3D, and I won't say I dislike the Amazing Digital Circus's animation, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't incredibly excited to see a 2D animation return to the spotlight in one of Glitch's massively viewed shows. And not just any 2D, but genuinely well-crafted 2D. I'm sorry, Hazbin Hotel, but that Flash animation style just doesn't cut it anymore. To me, this signals a major shift. Online cartoons are increasingly being seen as legitimate contenders in the animation space, with Glitch Studios essentially building an empire of creativity. More importantly, Dana Terrace will finally have the creative freedom to showcase her full potential online. No longer shackled by Disney's restrictions, she'll be able to explore darker and more mature themes, much like she did in the Owl House's final seasons. And with the Amazing Digital Circus facing criticism for being safe spooky or trying far too hard with its dark themes, I have a feeling that Dana Terrace would contribute something that would refine and deepen the aspect of this that Glitch has been going for in its storytelling. After all, even Gooseworks has openly asked for writing help online. Who's to say that Dana won't step in as a mentor in some capacity, since pretty much almost every collaboration online often means that somebody steps in to help out with another person's struggles, even if they don't work directly together on a project. And despite Disney initially wanting the Owl House to feel more like Harry Potter in its first seasons, forcing the story into a school setting rather than letting it focus on Ida living with Luz, Dana still managed to craft an eerie, compelling world. Her handling of Bellows, for instance, was pure nightmare fuel. Now, I'll admit, this part is basically me kind of coping, but I feel like we all kinda need this. I genuinely feel like this could reignite demand for the Owl House, whether in the form of a continuation or a spin-off. In the past few months alone, I've seen countless articles discussing how the demand for the show has skyrocketed tenfold, if not more, since 2020. And while Disney is without a doubt an evil corporation, they do love money. I mean, just look at how they handled backtracking guns firing from the arguably only good series to come out of Marvel in the last couple of years, where everything produced in the Phase 4 of Marvel was essentially that one SpongeBob meme of him struggling to keep everything afloat. Guardians of the Galaxy still did absolute numbers and gained them a lot of money. So, a guy can hope. Ultimately, this is a massive win for online animation. Even if the Owl House never returns, the Knights of Guinevere has the potential to surpass it, allowing Dana to be as unhinged and horrifyingly charming as she pleases. My only concern is that without restrictions, she may fall into the same trap as Vivzie Pop, mistaking edginess for pure maturity. What made the Owl House special was its earnest writing and deeply relatable characters. Even ones as smarmy as Ida, the show worked for both kids and adults alike. I just hope that Dana continues to strike the right balance and doesn't overindulge in darkness for its own sake. Because as much as I love the sick and twisted juxtaposition of a fantasy princess trapped in a sci-fi horror simulation, its edgy visuals are kind of reminding me of the recent Metroidvania game Cookie Cutter, a game that, while still pretty fun, indulged so heavily in its edgy style and visuals that it lost track of its story and gameplay, ultimately becoming pretty mediocre and forgettable in the long run. However, with Dana's track record, I have no doubt she's gonna pull through with this one, because everything is riding on the Knights of Guinevere succeeding. If it does, it could finally shatter the stigma that online animation feels try-hard compared to mainstream productions. This show absolutely needs to thrive, and I'm rooting for it.